Title of this is Lessons for My Most Successful Mentee, and we're going to talk about that. But there were two professors from Yale, I'm going to read their names, an Amy Chua, C-H-U-A, and Jed Rubenfeld, who wrote about the three traits of successful, they were talking about groups, but it also applies to people. So let's first look at what they said were the most successful traits of people, and then look at my most successful mentee, and you're going to see that there's a lot of things that line up there. The first was a superiority complex, that they believed that they had something to offer, something to accomplish. They were the best equipped to do it, and that they were going to not quit until they accomplished that. So strong ego, if you will. The second was insecurity. Sounds to be in conflict with the first, doesn't it? So insecurity meant that they didn't feel that what they had accomplished yet was enough, that they hadn't given everything they could give and accomplish everything they needed to give. Now, in concert with the first, a superiority conflict, that kept them from being too arrogant. My wife has said to me an awful lot of times, you are incapable of being satisfied. No matter what you do, you don't think it's enough. She thinks it has to do with my upbringing. I don't know if that's true. And then the third trait that those successful people had was impulse control. And by that, the ability to look at what's important, not get distracted by things around them, and to stay focused and on task, and to keep moving forward. So those three things, superiority complex, insecurity, impulse control, think about those things and how you are in terms of stacking up against those. So let's see how my best mentee does with respect to that. First of all, he had a clear mission in mind, knew exactly what he wanted to accomplish, what the goal was, had set a goal that's changed several times, but now bigger and bigger goal. He understood that to do that, he needed to learn more than what he knew. So he looked for, in business acquisition, a process that worked. Happens to be the process that I learned from my mentor. He knew that he needed to find some people to help him with that. I was part of that. I've mentored him since August of 2019. He put together a great group of people around him, board of directors, professionals, etc. He stayed working on the task at hand and didn't quit, never complained. Didn't matter what the obstacles were. 14 LOIs blew up. Didn't stop him. He continued on. The night before the first board meeting, the chairman said, I want everybody to kick money in. He had enough strength of will that he said, that is not how I recruited these people, so I'm not going to do that. So the chairman said, I resign. He didn't fold his tent and go home. He still held the board meeting, ended up with a better chairman, and continued on the path of learning, keeping goals in front of him, never quitting, never complaining, being positive. We always talked about the solutions to problems, not wallowing in what the problems were. So I would encourage you to think about those things, to think about the traits that make people successful and have made people successful, the tools that you need, the things you need around you, the resources, etc., etc. And there's no substitute for putting in the work. He had a full-time job when he first started this and did his acquisitions. We worked the process by which he could transition out pretty seamlessly to a better income. And the results, as I think you've seen, speak for themselves with the amount of acquisitions he's completed, the now 40 locations, and his life has certainly changed. But that work is not done, and we're still focusing on that as I mentor him and continue to mentor him. So I'd encourage you to think about those things. Do you know what you want to accomplish? Do you stay focused on it? Do you have the right tools? Do you know the process? If you don't know the process, go over to brucewhipple.com, and the Acquisition Advantage Bootcamp is a good place to do it. There are some free conversation starters. I'd encourage you to look at that. But remember these things that I've talked about. Ask yourself how you stack up against them, and then take action based on those things that I've outlined here. And I think you're going to be more successful than those people who do not do that.